Hey, Tony Gas is here. Now listen to me. In these last days, we have the deception of mankind. And the thing about it is a lot of this will be led by men and it'll be confirmed by women. Now, one of the things is, me being a man, I understand the power of lust and the power of the flesh. And that is not as common in women, and it's some women who, they say it is, but when you have been a male and you've been out in the field, you learn that that's not true. That a woman whose sex drive is as strong as a man's, she is an exception to the rule. It's a lot of women, especially in marriages, who sleep with their husband once a month, and it's just something that it's not really as needed. I've never heard a man say, I've been abstinent for 8 years, like a non-virgin. I've been abstinent for 4 years. I just talked to a lady yesterday who you would never assume to be abstinent, and she said before her boyfriend, she had been abstinent for 4 years. And I hear that all the time. When I used to do seminars and I would ask, who in here is abstinent? A lot of hands go up. Then I say, who been abstinent for a year? A few hands come down. Who been abstinent for 2 years? Some hands come down. 3 years, some hands come down. 4 years, some hands come down, but it's still hands up. All women, of course. And I believe the highest I done seen was 8 or 10 years. And it'd be one person left at that 8 or 10 year mark. But it just, and people being honest, because they could have just left their hand up for attention. The people that, when I said 1 year, 2 year. And so it showed me that men and women are not the same. And we got to understand that. Because if you notice, nowhere in history are we shown that women went and had a baby from this man, baby from this man, baby from this man, baby from this man, just because she was horny. Just because she felt like she needed more dinglings than one. Nowhere in history have we seen that. But we've seen men feel like they need more women. And a lot of times it's not even about populating the earth. He just needs different energy, different attitudes, different gifts, different services. And that is a part of the deception of man. And people will say, oh, it's from this religion, it's from this culture. I'm telling you. And in this day and age, what you're going to see is the deception of mankind. And it's nothing new under the sun. So you're finna see a lot more pushing of threesomes, foursomes, meaning relationships. You finna see a lot of pushing for open relationships. This ain't new, but we got media on a level that we've never had. That's what makes it new. So when it's mass produced, when it's mass exposed, that's what makes it even more dangerous. See, before social media, the stuff that went on in the degenerate culture, people who operating from greed, lust, fear, pain, trauma, anxiety, ignorance, immaturity, selfishness, all of this here, wanting all these partners, it come from one of those places, point blank period. I know you're a great person. I hate to say it, but you got to do the healing, you got to do the work, you got to evaluate yourself, you got to look yourself in the mirror, and you got to be real with yourself. Stop arguing with people, because I could see you, pain no pain, trauma no trauma, insecurity no insecurity. I could see you. Because when you heal and you healthy and you whole, you do not want more than one partner. You do not want more than one partner, and you do not want your partner to have more than you. Because see, some of the women in this polygyny, the man is their only partner. But they not the man's only partner. And that's low self-esteem. That's insecurity. Or it's ignorance. But that is not self-love. Point blank period, I ain't arguing with you. That's not self-love. And so you have to understand this, that this finna be marketed. And the person who showed me that page, they marketing this. It's like, if that's how you want to live, then live that way. But if you know you 1 out of 1,000, if you know you 1 out of 1,000, why market that? If you ain't doing the work of the devil. That's the work of the devil. If you 1 out of 1,000, why market something that if all these humans is out here choosing monogamy, when we could choose polygyny, polygamy, polyamory, all of the stuff, all the P's, we could choose that. When you see countless millions and millions of people saying, listen, that stuff don't make sense to me, this monogamy, it ain't because we all brainwashed. It ain't because we brainwashed. It's because we using common sense. But see, what's gonna happen is some of you that's hearing this message, that you're gonna get weak in your spirit. You're gonna get lonely. You're gonna get desperate if you're not feeding yourself with the right things. And this stuff that you're hearing is gonna start to sound good. It's gonna start to sound good. It's gonna start to make sense. Because, and the worst thing about it is when women confirm the ignorance that men have perpetuated. Because men wanting multiple women is men thinking with their little head instead of their big head. And when women confirm the idiocracy, that's when we on the road to destruction. That's when it's getting bad. When women can't use the sense that they've been given to tell men, hey, listen, playboy, that right there is foolish. You done bump your head and you need to get some help. So it's like, and we need men, that's why I'm speaking out, to let the man know, listen, my brother, I see you. I know you hurting. I know you done had some pain. I know you done seen some things. I know you done experienced some things. Brother, you need to love yourself. And even more so than loving yourself, you need to learn how to love and respect and cherish a woman. And you not doing that when you want you more than one woman. When you want a woman to have half of you, because you're not giving her all of you. Because you can't give two people all of you. That don't make no sense. If I got a glass full of water and I pour it all into another glass, I can't pour nothing else into a second glass. So I got to give one glass some and I got to give the other glass some. Point blank period. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And so that's what we have to know and understand. And this is the deception of man. And it's going to be served up on a hot platter. It's going to be pushed around the country. It's finna be in the schools. It's finna be in the cartoons. In the next 10 years, we're going to see a cartoon where the child got two mamas and one daddy. Watch and see. And Disney probably going to be the one to push it. Watch and see. Within the next 10 years, watch and see. And the thing about it is, we're going to end up like Sodom and Gomorrah. California already be getting on fire for no reason. Climate change. Just be out there burning. And it's like, listen here. It's finna be a lot worse. Because we being turned over to a reprobate mind. We lost. Everybody is wallowing in pain, wallowing in trauma, and we all got issues. I got issues. I got to take my son out this weekend, my 15-year-old, and talk to him and be a man and apologize to him for me feeling disrespected and the way that I talked to him when I felt disrespected, because as a child he may not be able to process that and understand that I love him, but don't ever poke your chest out at me. And so I got to learn how to deal with him. And that's my issue. And I'm sharing that just to say, I ain't coming here as no perfect saint saying I got it all together and you need to get your stuff together. We all failing in one area or another. But the goal is to pursue perfection and not to become complacent in our pain, in our trauma, in our past mistakes. The goal is to pursue perfection. The goal is to be better. We got to be better. And we got to be willing to be better. And we're not doing that. We're not doing that on a large enough scale. And it's hindering us and it's hurting us. And it's going to end up costing us big time. It's going to end up costing us big time. And I'm telling you. And so a lot of these people in these, pushing these open relationships, multiple wives, all this stuff, a lot of them ain't even having kids. They just doing it just for their own lust, their own insecurity, their own voids. And then the ones who have kids, a lady came in the comments and she said, I'm the product of a father who had multiple wives. And she said, I'm still dealing with the trauma from that today. And I've been healing. And I've done the work. She said, thanks to you and others, I've done the work. And she said, but my siblings, she said, some of my siblings are still broken or hurting, a word she used. And now that was the first time I done seen a child grow up to be an adult and could speak for themselves. It was another lady in there talking about, oh, it's for some people, and to put monogamy over polygyny based on virtue is not right. You can still be good people or be right or be good in polygyny and all of that. But it's like, ma'am, are you the child of a polygynous relationship? If not, be quiet. Because I can guarantee you that is confusing. When you in your household and you got two mamas or more mamas, or you got a mama and then it's another mama in there who is on the same level as your mama with your daddy, and then you got a brother or sister, but y'all ain't got the same mama, and y'all live in the same house, and when you go to school, you got to live on a compound with other people who got the same stuff. But when you go to school, you finna be conflicted. You finna be conflicted. You finna be confused. And right now the word is riz. It's talking about game. What the kid's saying, riz. The child finna be getting picked on. Hey, boy, your daddy got some riz. Woo! Your daddy played for the Washington Wizards. Oh my, your daddy the Wizard of Oz. Oh my goodness, man. What? Hey, I want to be like your daddy when I grow up. But then the little girl's gonna be saying, that is so disgusting. I hate to say it, but, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I would be mortified if my dad had a second wife. So your child got to live on a compound the way ain't nobody else like that. Otherwise, if your child go to a public school, go to a private school, your child go anywhere that every other family ain't like that, your child finna become an introvert. Your child finna be alienated, ostracized. They finna be picked on, talked about. Their feelings all of us done went through school. And ain't nobody got no sympathy. I was growing up, I had a big head. I still got a big head, but now my body bigger. But I was a handsome young man. I played sports. I was always the best athlete in my grade, best basketball player, best running back in football. And guess what? Still got picked on. Still got picked on. The thing about it is it didn't bother me because I was excelling and I knew who I was, and I knew guys was picking on me because they were jealous of me. And I remember to this day though, guys say, hey, Tony, your mama lips like this. Ooh, your mama lips like this. Ooh, your mama got, and my mama have lips like mine. And what that brown thing is on top of your mama's lip, my mama got a birthmark right there. And so it was a guy. He was dark skinned. And y'all know the pain of having dark skin, meaning he's darker than me, 2 or 3 shades darker than me. His name was Icky. So imagine having the name Icky. That's his nickname. And he had one eye. So I could understand why Icky was bullying me. Because I'm like, okay, I get it. Man, this man going through a lot. So I didn't even trip. And he bullied everybody. He picked on everybody. And my cousin, nice guy, all love. My cousin, if you wanted to fight me, you had to fight my cousin first. And my cousin was smaller than me. He was shorter than me. But he had heart. And he was raised by a daddy that he ended up probably kind of falling out with as he got older. Daddy wasn't perfect. Just like I ain't perfect. My son don't like me right now. Because I'm trying to teach him lessons about manhood that it don't make sense to a 15-year-old. And I'm not with the gentle parenting stuff, like, because I'm not finna be getting cussed out like the white dads. Not me. So I'm still learning and growing. But it'll make sense one day. And here go my cousin. He was raised like that. But he used to pick on me. Pick on my head all the time. Tony, hey, boy, you better turn on a turn signal before you look left or right. And so, but it didn't bother me. Like, I don't remember the pain. And so it just because I knew who I was. But think about this. So here it was. You could be excelling. You could have straight A's. You could have straight F's. You could be the best athlete, and you're gonna get picked on. If you were tall and you going to the NBA, you still daddy long legs, Jack in the Beanstalk, stilts. You still getting picked on, and you finna be a multi-millionaire. And so, and you getting whooped. The little short boy wanna fight you because you tall and he mad and he ain't had no growth spurt. And he finna tear your torso up. Finna beat the brakes off your abdomen. And so, this is what you gotta understand. These people pushing this, oh, I wanna have multiple women. But then, and especially people with a platform, what think their kids finna go through? Child literally gonna wanna take their life. And then imagine this. Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it well enough. So imagine explaining polygamy, polyamory to a 6-year-old. Ain't nowhere in their mind is that gonna make sense. And they understand relationships. They understand mom and dad. They understand love because they love you. And they hug on you, kiss on you, sit by you, talk to you, they affirm you. They got them a boyfriend in school, got them a girlfriend in school. They understand relationships in the concept, the general concept. No, they don't understand communication in relationships and conflict resolution and all of that. But they understand man and woman getting married and starting a family because they know that's what they come from, if they come from that. So imagine this, and this what I'm trying to say is, we as adults, it's so many adults being selfish and not thinking about the children, not thinking about what the children gonna go through, not thinking about the message that we're sending, and not thinking about how we operating from our stuff and whatever it may be. And that's why I try not to just label one word, because I could say we operating from lust, and then a polygynist could say, well, I'm not in lust, this ain't lust. I'll say we operating from insecure. Well, I'm not insecure, I'm confident in being in this. Well, we're operating from trauma. Well, I go to therapy, so I'm not operating from trauma. And so they'll find every little word to say they ain't operating from that, but not thinking about the message that it's sending, not thinking about the confusion of the children, not thinking about their mental makeup and the resolve that they have built over their life. Their child may never ever have that level of resolve or that level of understanding. And then their child be messed up and go try to get in that. And so I was looking at the stuff, this here polygyny stuff, and they had videos on the bitter first wife. So it's like, listen, okay, if y'all polygynists and this all beautiful and peaches and cream, and this the way to go, why the first wife bitter? Why is she bitter? You know why? Because that ain't human nature. That ain't human nature. Because if that's human nature, she's not going to be bitter. If that's human nature, then the man will have no problem giving his all to each of his wives, and the wives all love cup gonna be filled. But you know why they have any problem? They need coaching, because you can't even sustain one relationship, let alone trying to have two. It does not make sense. But that is what's finna pick up in our world, because when they talking about it, when they talking about this stuff on nationally syndicated television shows, it's finna get bad. It's finna pick up. But guess what? The problem is, when you get on Instagram, your 13-year-old, your 14-year-old, your 15-year-old got Instagram. And the way the algorithm works, little stuff slip in there. Little stuff slip in there. So when your daughter, who 13 years old, who you trying not to be a controlling parent, and you want to let her have Instagram because every one of her friends got Instagram. When she get on there and she see this man who is of age sitting on a TV show saying when he get married, he gonna have him 2 queens. She don't want to bring that to you because she's gonna be afraid that you're going to take her phone or you're gonna make her delete the app. So now at 13, she's gonna look up this man's name. And now she's gonna go to his page and she's gonna let this lost man, this man who operate from lust, this man who done raised all of this money and ain't produced now school that he say he was gonna produce. Because we know if the man did, he will be walking us around every day, giving us a tour of the school. He'll have a camera on him, recording him talking to the young men if he done built the school. The same way that the coach got a camera following him around for his documentary and his TV show. And so that's what he'll be doing, because that's his personality. And so now your daughter finna get groomed to where at 18, she might be one of the wives. And so now here you got a man who's sitting on here saying this with the hairstyle of a teenager. That hairstyle is what teenagers wearing. That right there ought to tell you something. You see, I'm 38 years old, I got the hairstyle of a 38-year-old. That right there ought to tell you something. See, this thing when I try to tell y'all, women can't even see men. Women can't even read men. For the most part, women can't even read men. It's some women who could see because they listening to male mentorship that's coming from a good place. Not the male mentorship that's serving you up on a platter, telling you what you want to hear, so you come in vulnerable, and then he take advantage of your vulnerability because he understand you inside and out, and he done got you in his following. See, listen. When I seen the relationship coach who ended up cheating on his wife, when I first seen him, I knew he was a sham. I knew he was a sham. But guess what? After him doing it for so many years, he started to convince me. 1 or 2 times I said to myself, maybe he living right, because he giving away a lot of the game. And for some reason, I had more faith in women. I had more faith in women. I probably had too much faith in women. Because I'm like, I had more faith in women than to believe that a woman would fall for a married relationship coach. But that goes to show the brokenness that's in some women, the desperation that's in some women, the ignorance that's in some women. And the woman that the man was with.
Today.
Yes. Can I have 2 tall iced caramel macchiatos with an extra shot?
Sure. 2 tall iced caramel macchiatos with an extra shot. Can I get you anything else today?
That'll be all.
Hey, may I have your full total for the window? Thank you.
Thank you. Asked my wife if she wanted any food or drink. She didn't respond yet. I think she's taking a nap. We was up late. She was up late working on my son's costume for the day. And so I'm just gonna take her something anyways. Cause she do me like that sometimes, even when I don't want it or need it. And so I honestly had more faith in women. I'm like, hello.
Those two current Mercados?
Yep.
You are 1166 for you.
Okay, though.
And then
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
These straws or anything?
2 straws.
2 straws? I got it.
And so here I am. I'm like, so I had more faith in women than to believe that women will be with a married relationship coach. I'm like, so when I found that out,
I got those 2 coming for you.
thank you. That right there said something to me. That said something to me. That this the state of our world. But here's again, it's the same reasoning. It's like, if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. Somebody came in the comment, I wish you'll be transparent with your audience and just say names. And it's like, listen, man, if you don't, all right, thank you.
I got the other one coming.
If you don't know who I'm talking about, it ain't none of your business. That means you not tapped in. And then 2, if you know who I'm talking about, if you want me to say names, appreciate it. All right, you too. If you want me to say names, that means that you're messy. And that's part of your problem now. And that's why God can't move in your life, because you're messy. It ain't about the person's name, it's about the message from their name. And so listen, when you look at the individual, what I see as a man is a man who had too much head and not enough body, and then became a grown man and wanted to get buff, and got buff to compensate for another area of either being overlooked in middle school or a little Johnson. Or if it wasn't a Johnson, it could have been from being broke and being picked on growing up, not having the new shoes, not having the new clothes, being not athletic enough, being on the team but not excelling, or being picked on by the guys, being overlooked by the ladies. And so now when a man get a platform, a lot of men, if they haven't sold their wild oats and they ain't been out there, they don't know how to handle the platform. So me having a platform, because of my past, because of my history, the platform don't affect me as it relates to women. The platform affect me as it relates to money, because I didn't have money. So when I started doing business and I created over 50 streams of income, that inflated my ego. When I touched 7 figures, meaning $1 million or more in a year, that inflated my ego, and I had to learn how to deal with that. But as the women part, that wasn't my issue, because I'd already been there and done that. So that's what's happening with these guys, and that's what people have to understand. So when a woman is getting wise counsel from a relationship coach or a male mentor who not trying to sleep with her or serve her up to himself, and that's where you hear these messages at. That's why you hear a lady put in the comments, and this is all about the deception of man in today's time. A lady put in the comments that there is a relationship coach who says God and talk like he a Christian, but then talks about it being okay to have sex on the first night. That right there is a red flag. When a man give you advice that says you need to be realistic and you need to have sex before marriage, that lets you know that that man is not on your side. He is trying to serve you up on a platter. He trying to serve you up on a platter. Because one thing I'm gonna tell you, as a man who done had women, if my wife said she want to wait till marriage and I said this is my wife, I would have waited. Point blank period. Because I waited as long as she wanted to wait. I did what she wanted to do. I changed in the areas of my life that I need to change to keep her in my life. Listen, it's countless men who done waited for a woman until marriage. It happened every day. It happened every day. But see, the deception of man will make a woman believe that her only value or her main source of value is what's between her legs. And if she's not giving that up, that she's not worth anything. And so if she's not giving that up, she's gonna be single until she die. And that's not the truth. It means she need to get out the house, and she need to be in prayer, and she need to be exposed. Lord, did that plastic bag get stuck under my car? And she need to be exposed more, meaning she need to be out the house, and she need to be going to networking events. She need to be in the church. She need to be in the life groups. She need to be moving and shaking. She need to be out and about, not just going to work and going home. And when she out, she need to have her phone in her purse, and she need to be walking at a normal pace with her head up, and she need to be approachable, and she need to be dressed decent, not to the nines, not trying to put on, but comfortable. Point blank period. And she need to be out the house at least 4 days a week, and she gonna meet her husband. She gonna meet her husband in due timing. And that's what need to be understood. But see, this deception of man will tell a woman, oh, you need to stop lying to women. Oh, you need to stop lying to women. Yes, coming from a man who is in the comments of another man trying to proselytize and trying to hate because you broke, busted, and disgusted as a man, and you're jealous because a man has the attention of some women, and because your whole mission in life is to get the attention of women, you cannot believe that another man wants to, you can't believe that another man could have pure intentions and not want to sleep with a woman because you can't believe that a man could give a woman insight without wanting to sleep from her. Oh, well, you trying to get money from her. You trying to get money from her. Oh, I'm trying to get money from her. But you can watch a whole video and not see me sell her anything. Not see me sell her anything on 9 out of 10 of my videos. And not see me have a cash out on the lower third of my video. And can't find a cash out in the description. But because of your twisted, warped mind, you can't believe that there's such thing as a good man, as a healed and honest man who wants the best for mankind, who can honestly do the work of God and depend on God to provide. A man who can provide a service, a real service, and have an exchange of, let me teach you how to be an entrepreneur. Let me teach you how to be a life coach. That's how I make money. That's how I make a good portion of my money, is through my online courses. And those online courses, the courses that actually pay me, have nothing to do with relationships, have nothing to do with pandering to a woman. I got a Real Love University that costs $15. You know how many times I got to sell that to even make 100,000? It's not doing it. It's not doing it. And so that's what people don't understand with the deception of man. It's also people pushing a narrative that every man who cares about the well-being of a woman is a simp. Every man who want to see a woman win is a simp. Every man who takes the time to see the other side and not just look at it through the male lens and create a game that's only intended for the man to win, he's pandering. And that is the deception of man. That's the problem with our society. And that's why we losing. That's why we losing. Because we can't see the good past our nose. We can't see the good for creating the bad in our mind. And that's why we losing. That is why we losing. So listen to me. Now you're gonna see out here, you're gonna see that this is what's happening with these men. And when you look at these men down to the man, you're gonna realize that the men who want multiple women, every last one of them operating from some form of insecurity. And some men just want to make it so bad, they just want to be rich so bad, because the relationship coach who got caught cheating on his wife, he literally destroyed his wife. That lady have lost her mind inside of that relationship. That lady have went through the worst form of narcissistic abuse. She have lost her mind. God bless her. We praying for her. But when you come on a camera and you use the name of God to curse people, oh, unless you repent, you're gonna bust hell wide open with gasoline draws on. Because that ain't God. That ain't God. The Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. The Bible don't tell you to go out and curse people and take vengeance upon yourself. So when I seen that right now, that let me know this sister done went through it. I had to pray for her. I had to pray for her. I had to pray for her. Listen to me. Lord bless her. Listen to me. But see, that's the hand of these kind of men. And see, I knew something was off with the brother because he touched on and addressed every single topic. See, I don't touch on and address every single topic because when you got any kind of couth and when you got any kind of just sense or dignity, you're not going to touch on every single topic. You're not finna name and show the face and the name and come for the throat of every single person. You're not finna do that. You're gonna move around it. You're gonna teach a lesson from it without attacking the person, because you know we all flawed. You know we all working on ourselves in one way or another. So you don't just come out and attack the person. You teach the lesson from what the person did. And a lot of people say, oh, well, say the name. This is another thing. When you have wisdom, you know not to say names of people who actually watching your videos, because the brother gonna see this video. His wife gonna see this video. So I know when I'm doing these videos, I know it's eyes on me. But when you say a name, guess what you do? You allow YouTube to be able to strike your video and delete your video because you said a name. When you put a name in the title, when you put a picture in the thumbnail, you allow yourself to be striked. And just like we seen, the bloggers now are being sued for their opinion and for their insight and for their information that they sharing about people because they saying a name. Instead of saying there's a certain person out there who is said to have this certain disease, they saying the name and they riding out on that name. And that's why when you teaching a message and you teaching a lesson, and that's why when you reaching people, the Bible say be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. So for me, it ain't about me being scared. It's about me being wise, because the point is the lesson. And my daddy taught me that when I wrote my first book. He said, Tony, you could teach a lesson without saying names. He said, because the lesson is the lesson. I say, man, okay. And if you know who I'm talking about, then you know who I'm talking about. But when I seen that right there, I knew from the beginning. I knew from the beginning. I said, it's just a matter of time. And then I got deceived for a few months, and I was like, well, maybe this real. And then when it came out, I'm like, whoa, that is another level of narcissism. That's I could not, I'm gonna be honest with you. When me and my wife have a disagreement, it's hard for me to make a video. When me and my wife have a disagreement, it's hard for me to make a video. I need my life to be in alignment for me to be out here. And that's why the devil attacked me and attacked my wife. And that's why he try us sometime, because he know how I'm built. He know that I'm real. He know that it's gonna affect me if things ain't right in my life. He know it's gonna affect me. He know it's gonna affect my message, because I can't be wrong in the dark and shining in the light. I can't live like that. So when I found out that brother was in this day and age being a relationship coach but cheating on his wife, I said, wow. And I remember another relationship coach who wasn't really a relationship coach, but he just always talked about love. He always wrote about love, so people seen him as a relationship coach. He got paid to speak on love and relationships, but really he was a poet who was infatuated with the topic of love. And he had a girlfriend, and I knew his girlfriend, and he knew me, and we had met, but he didn't tell me he was the guy that I met. And I remember when I met him, he said, I'm single, so I can sleep with who I want to sleep with because I'm single. And I'm like, whoa, okay, but you teaching love, and these women think that you believe this here romantic stuff that you talking about. I just said it in my head, but I knew he was a sham. And then he got with this woman, and I happened to talk to the woman, giving her advice, but did not know he was the guy that I had already met. And I told her, see, he's not making a lot of money in what he do because he talking on love, but he ain't showing no woman. I did not know that she was with him, because she didn't tell me she was with him, but she was looking for a guy who do what I do. And because she thought that represent integrity, not realizing that most of these men are out here just for the money, and they don't care how their life look behind closed doors. It's a handful of us that care how our life look behind closed doors and are actively working every day to right our wrongs and to perfect our lives behind closed doors. It's a handful of us as teachers. And that's just because I know humans. And so here you have this woman with this guy. So she started to showcase him. She started to show him off. And then boom, next thing you know, people saying they secretly married, then people saying they secretly divorced, or they were secretly together and then they went through a breakup. She had to find something out because he was a sham. He wasn't ready to be faithful. He wasn't ready to do the right thing, and I don't know what it was because she never told me what it was, but she was desperate for love. So what she did, she went and picked another sham, because people think relationships advance your career. So she went and picked another sham and then went through a divorce with him. And that's why I tell y'all that successful women and women who got all the sense in the world still do not be knowing men, still be judging a man by the wrong things. A man got to have a heart after God. A man has to have a heart after God. He has to have a fear and a reverence for God. If a man is asking you to live contrary to the word of God, then he is not a man of God. If a man can read his Bible all day, but if he want to be in fornication with you, he's not a man of God. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. When a man will put what's between your legs before his relationship with God, he is not a man of God. And this is the deception of man. This is the deception of man, and it is only going to get worse. And so you have to know who you are. And I'm going to tell you something. You need to find peace being single. You need to find peace being single. Stop operating from a state of longing. Stop operating from a state of longing. Stop operating from a state of desperation. Get all the knowledge you need to get. That don't mean run away from the knowledge. Now, if you can't find peace being single, getting the knowledge, then run away from the knowledge. Stop watching my videos. Oh, the men who say I'm pandering would have never expected me to say that. But listen, I work for God. I ain't worrying about who stop watching my videos because it's not serving them. Because God gonna send, for every person I lose, God gonna send 10 people that it's gonna help in the season of their life. Point blank, period. That's what I know, because I serve God. And that's what I need you to understand. So you need to find peace being single. Because until you find peace being single, you won't have the discernment when you meet somebody. And this for men and women. You will not have the discernment because you will be operating from a place of desperation. And desperation in love is a weak emotion. Desperation is a weak emotion, and it produces weak results. And so a lot of times we misuse the word desperation. A lot of times we say, well, no, I'm desperate. No, you were motivated. You were inspired. You were operating from love. You were operating from hope. You were operating from desperation. Because when you desperate, you make bad decisions. You got to be cool, calm, and collected, or you got to be extremely motivated and inspired and driven. So we need to use the terms correctly. And I got a mentee who used to have a term, activate your desperation, and it just was because of a lack of understanding of what that space could send somebody into. That's not a good space. You need to be motivated. You need to be inspired. And so listen to me now. I'm about to pull up to the house. I'm gonna have to go. You got to be prayed up, and you got to be paying attention. And you keep everybody at a distance. You get what you can get. You get the knowledge you need, whatever. But don't put anybody on a pedestal. Don't worship nobody, especially myself. And if you listen to somebody, don't just listen to us. Pray for us. As you listen to us, pray for us. Lord, give him or her strength. Give them wisdom. Heal their heart. Heal their mind. Restore them. Replenish them. Renew them. Keep them close to you. Say that prayer. Say that prayer. For anybody you listening to, you sitting up under, say that prayer. Because the devil out here is busy. And the longer we go, the voice is going to start to shrink. It's going to be fewer and fewer and fewer voices, because even if you're not working per se for God, even if you're not living right in the dark, you're still going to suffer because you're working for dark forces. And dark forces don't let you just serve and thrive. You're going to serve, and then the dark force is going to make you suffer, because the dark force, the evil, the adversary, the devil want to take out even those who serve and work for him, because he want complete destruction. He don't want nobody to survive. He don't want nobody to outlive him and survive him. He don't want it, because if you serving him and you survive, that means he ain't got no power. So he gonna let you work for him, and then he's still going to destroy you. And that's what he did to the relationship coach. He let him work for him. He let him use the name of God in vain, because he knew he was going to expose him. He knew he was going to destroy his marriage. He knew what he was going to do. He knew it. And it's another guy here right now that I believe is single. It's two of them out here that's single, that talk about, it's okay to have sex before marriage, and you got to be realistic, and a man is not going to wait. The reason why is because they serving women up on a platter. So what they are saying in Manglish is, when you meet me and I start to talk to you and I show you some attention and affection and I give you some time, they telling you that you need to sleep with them, because men do not wait. Successful men or alpha men or this whatever, knowledgeable men, educated men, whatever term they're going to use, they're going to say they don't wait. And the reason why they telling you that is because they know they're going to meet hundreds of women, and they know they're going to sleep with a good amount of them. And here's the safety that men have. The safety that men have in this day and age is, a woman looks stupid if she sleep with a man who got a platform and she don't have a commitment or a promise from him. She's not his wife. So a lot of women care about their self-image and their brand. And so that's why a lot of these men who play in the game, they sleep with women who also have something to lose. The part that the guy did wrong with not that he did wrong, because cheating was wrong, but the part that let me know he's not even as no player is, and that he come from just being overlooked and all of that, just naive. Because if you're gonna play the game, you don't deal with women who gonna go to a blog. And that's where he was mentally and spiritually, meaning just how he feel about himself. So the men who dirty and they playing the game, they going, I'm telling you what they doing, they going to women who got something to lose too. And the woman operating with a sense of hope, hoping that she could get him and lock him in, and she coming off that guata, hoping that it's gonna hook him. And then she realized, whoa, this ain't hook him. But then she too embarrassed to say, hey, I slept with this person right here, because she knows social media gonna say, well, you's a dummy. Well, you's a fool. Why did you do that? If the man ain't marry you. If the man, you know the man a relationship coach, you know the man a pastor, you know the man a president, you know the man a police officer, you know the man, this a man of standard. So if he didn't give you perceived standard, if he didn't give you no real commitment, then why did you get on your back? They know ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for her in this day and age. They know she a grown woman and she consented to be played. So what she do is she gonna be quiet. And also a lot of black women have been taught to be quiet. A lot of black women have been taught to protect black men. And that's how we as black men have grace. That's how we have grace. That's how we get grace, because when we, and it's also God giving us grace. But when we make a stupid mistake, when we make that stupid mistake, when we make that stupid choice, because people get caught up in the words, when we make a stupid choice, we always have grace, because it's not in a black woman's nature to tear down and destroy a black man. When a black man get destroyed by a black woman, it's because he got nasty, disrespectful, and all out of bounds with that woman. And the woman said, and I remember meeting a white woman who was sleeping with an extremely high profile black man. I'm talking about top 10. And this is another reason why guys and celebrities don't necessarily say my name, because they know that I'm on that level that they jump off, and they women, if they looking for a coach, I'm on the short list of coaches. I would never say their name, but they don't know that. And I will say their name if they come at me crazy. And so that's why they don't try me like no baser. But this guy here is in the top 10 influential, biggest black men. And a white woman was sleeping with him. And she from another country, but her skin color is white. And she said, I'm not going to expose him because he treated me like a queen. She said, although he was engaged to be married, and he has a huge brand, and my tell-all book could probably make millions, like Karen Steffens, who they used to call Superhead. She said, I'm not going to expose him because he treated me like a queen. He never disrespected me. But guess what? Had he disrespected or not? And this is a woman of another race who don't care about necessarily the preserving the image of a black man because it's her race. So black women are taught to protect black men. That's why grandma always bail out her son and her grandsons from jail. She taught to protect black men because she know the black man is being attacked by the white man. She know the black man is under the foot of the white man. That the white man got his foot on the neck of the black man. She know that the black man is up against so much. So she is taught intrinsically. She raised to protect. And that is why so many black women get taken advantage of, and they never tell on the man. That's why when you see Bill Cosby and people like that, and Russell Simmons, when the allegations come, it come from majority of women of other races. Now, it was a black woman in there, here or there. But even some of them identified with other races because they were biracial. But black women have went through so much, and they have sucked it up for black men. They have just taken it. They've said, you know what? He made a mistake. It was bad judgment. Black women have had hands put on them and they made an excuse for the man. Black women have been cheated on and they made an excuse for the man. Black women have been violated, taken advantage of by a man, even when they was as a child and even as an adult, and they made an excuse for the man. They said, no, I'm not gonna go to the police, because if I go to the police might take his life. And although I'm hurting, although this hurt me, I don't want to see him in prison. I hate to see a black man go to prison. And there's so many black women with that belief. It's so many black. So when a black man get exposed, he deserve it. He deserve it. Because he done made enough. He done had enough time to get it right. A black man is never, ever exposed the first time he do something wrong by a black woman. Never. And if you notice now, the man, the news anchor who done got caught having this affair, what's the race of the woman he having an affair with? If that was a black woman he had that affair with, the workplace wouldn't care, because they don't care how a black woman get treated in the workplace. But you're not finna come on here. You're not finna bring your black ding-a-ling on here and be around here piping down all white women. Playboy. And you done been on here too long. And we want to replace you with Ryan Seacrest. Because Ryan Seacrest done got some allegations about him and still got his job. So we want to replace you. So because we know you got this here affair going on, you done been on here too long, we finna go on leak this here. Now, if you did it with your own kind, we'll let you live, playboy. Just like the NBA coach. What is the race of the woman he had that affair with? Now, had that happen with a woman of his own race, they wouldn't have cared about that. They would have said, oh, the old jungle bunnies, that's what they do. You know, the coons, that's what they do. You know, they got a sexual prowess. You know, what do you expect? He's sleeping with LaQuisha. Okay, that's cool. Let him bump the ghetto loins. But no, you go to piping down this woman of another race. Sooner that come out, because the man could have dealt with his wife. When the man find out, her husband find out, or whoever find out, he could have dealt with his wife. He didn't have to get that man fired, because that's his wife. His wife got on her bike. His wife made that choice. You supposed to deal with your wife. Don't act like the man tied your wife up now. But guess what? Because you're a black man, listen, I don't want to see you win. I don't want to see you successful. Your ex-slave, what in the world? Do you know if this was 60 years ago, you'd be hanging from a tree? The world is wrong with you. Okay, you want to try me in? Going right down there to the front office. Listen, this man here been having an affair with my wife, and that's against company policy. Just divorce your wife. Just divorce your wife and let his woman break up with him. I thought they were married, but y'all told me they ain't married. But I just read the other day, I think they went through a breakup. Okay, let that happen. But no, they go for your job. So guess what, brothers? Y'all out here want to philander. Y'all out here want to be community dang-a-lang. You out here want to slang and pain. You're the first one to get chopped off the block. You're the first one to get terminated. And you might not get rehired. I just seen a man of another race in the same NBA. Guess what happened? The man, he looked white, but he come from another country, but his skin color is white. He had an affair with a white woman. Guess what he did? He got terminated, and in less than a few months, he was hired again by another NBA team. He was hired again by his old boss from his old NBA team. That's what'll happen when your skin color a certain way. But when you're a black man, listen, brother, we done already had too much advancement than the Willie Lynch letter expected us to have. So if you finna go out here and be irresponsible, you finna pay a much greater price. That's why when you see this stuff lined up and drawn out, you see this black boy committed the same crime as this white boy, and the black boy got 30 years and the white boy got 6 months probation. You see that over and over. My black uncle doing 40 years in prison for selling $20 worth of drugs because he got offered a year and a day. He turned it down and claimed his innocence and took it to trial, and they sentenced him to 40 years. He got to serve 27 of them before he get out. Before he eligible to get out. Listen to what I'm telling you. It's a deception of man, and it's largely right now the deception of the black man, and we need to get it together. We needed to get it together. And then we want to find one white man who doing the same thing and say, oh, it's white men too. It's white men too. Yeah, it's a handful of them, but it's a whole lot of us being deceived like we still got slave brain. Come on now, we got to do better. Hey, this is Tony Gaskin. God bless you. We'll talk soon.